Folks, welcome to Everything Pro Wrestling. Everything Pro Wrestling is a show by the fans for the fans. And I'm your host, Conrad Cushman, and I'm here to talk about Impact Wrestling Bound for Glory 2017. Last night's show was from Ottawa, Ontario, Canada. Decent show. I put it on the barely passable level, but Impact Wrestling gave it a try, so can't be mad at them. I'm trying to watch more of their shows to get back into it now that Dixie is gone, because I refused to while she was still there. But it was held in a location, the Aberdeen Pavilion. Never been there, never heard of it. But let me put up the graphic for the show here, just so you guys can check it out. Should have the graphic up right now. But Impact Wrestling still seems to me to have an identity crisis at the moment. It seems like Impact Wrestling doesn't know exactly what they want to be or where they want to go. So to me, it's very difficult to say what they are trying to become. Their identity is lost, and that's something that they could work on or try to fix. But like I said earlier, this video is going to be about Bound for Glory. Not a horrible show. Barely passable, I'll say. They didn't have the full proper build from what I'm understanding. I don't watch the show week to week, but from what I understand, they did have to do some filler episodes and some things didn't work out correctly for them. From the business standpoint, I understand why they're doing it to save money, XYZ, ABCs, I get it. But at the same time, if you don't have good build, no one is going to pay to see your show. And they built this show to try to get people to tune into their next episode of Impact Wrestling on Pop TV. So hopefully that it got some people interested, because I don't want to see Impact Wrestling fail. But let's get into the show. The opening contest, we had Trevor Lee, who was the X Division champion, Dezmond, Xavier, Sonjay, Dutt, Petey Williams, Garza Jr., and Matt Sydal face off for the X Division title. I felt this match could have been better if it was an Ultimate X match, but at the same time, you know what everybody wanted to see in this match, especially it being in Canada. Petey Williams hit the Canadian Destroyer, one of the craziest moves in wrestling that anyone has ever seen. It looks over the top, it looks very fake, and it's very dangerous to do, but no one does it like Petey Williams. And it was good to see him out there. He actually looked like he was in great shape. Still could go, so I was happy to see that. Another person who was good to see was Matt Sydal, who was Evan Bourne in WWE. Matt Sydal is still a tremendous performer. He actually did a couple really good spots in the match. And one other small thing I noticed in the match, Garza Jr., I don't know if he hurt his shoulder or if he hurt his arm or something, but he definitely couldn't use it in the match. And I felt he shouldn't have been out there. If he's injured, don't force a guy to go out there. And I know that at the same time, he's not going to tell you he's hurt because he doesn't want to lose out on a payday. But you can't have a guy out there who's hurt like that if he can't perform in the match. And he had submission slapped on him, and he's getting out of them. And it just didn't look good for some parts. But this match was fun. And it made me realize something else, which is the X Division is better than 205 Live because they let these guys go out and go balls to the wall. They let them do whatever they got to do to get over. 205 Live could learn from this. The match ended with Trevor Lee stealing the pinfall from Petey Williams after a Canadian Destroyer. But overall, that was probably in my top 2 matches of the show. That might have even been my number 1 toss-up between the two. We also had a match with Tyson Ducks versus, I wasn't sure who the person was. Because they focused so much in the next match on Laurel Van Ness, who was Chelsea from Tough Enough. Yeah, I have to give this match a dud. I really can't talk about it or rate it because they were so focused on the crowd, and I was confused throughout the match. I'm like, well, who's the guy in the ring? I felt that it wasn't explained enough to me, so I just tuned out of it very quickly if they want an honest opinion on that. We may be jumping around and out of order here. The next match I want to talk about is Abyss versus Grado in a Monsters Ball match for the rights to Grado's visa. It's so funny that we're talking about this and we're in Canada, despite the fact that this is for his visa in America. Kind of weird. But I had low expectations going into this because Grado's usually a comedy wrestler. Abyss has that hardcore style that he really doesn't need to do. The fans are going to love Abyss no matter what. Tremendous performer. But this match was full of run-ins. It had everything else in it that you could ask for. Grado doing the Dusty Road spots that he always does. Abyss hits a black hole slam onto a barbed wire. I think it was like a table or something for the victory. Rosemary got her match bumped off the show with Taya. So Rosemary got a spot in the hair to where she had to get slammed on some thumbtacks. Not the greatest of matches. I felt they could have done better for both guys, but overall they did their best. When you go with low expectations, it's hard to disappoint. So good for Abyss, but let's move on from the storyline. Let's find something better for them to do. I think Abyss should be in the world title picture if you could, and have James Mitchell by his side. That's my personal opinion. We had the next match, which was like Team Impact versus Team AAA. It had Eddie Edwards, EC3, and James Storm basically doing the storyline of can they all get along versus Fantasma, Texano, and Pagano. This match was hurt by not having a lot of build to it, it seemed like. So they did the whole can the Impact guys get along. It really didn't have too much in it. Team Impact ended up winning because EC3 and all of them band together for the win. But decent. They tried their best. Tag team title match, which was OVE, which is Ohio versus everyone, versus LAX in a 51-50 street fight. In this match, we did get a pretty cool debut of one of my favorite indie wrestlers, which is Sami Callihan. He debuted to assist them win and retain their championships against LAX. It was a pretty exciting match for the most part. They went right out and got to it right from the beginning of the match. Santana did like a 20-foot splash off of like a scaffold, I guess you may want to call it. The Chaos didn't even I don't know. They didn't stop until Sami Callihan came out. It was a good match. OVE definitely has like the momentum right now, so I have no issues with them keeping the titles. It just feels weird. I feel like a lot of guys in TNA are green, even the guys in LAX and OVE. But you know what? They need these kind of matches to get their footing, so you can't really complain about that either. But you could see some of the green tendencies with some of the guys, like being on a bigger stage. But overall, good tag match. Let's get some more teams in there for these guys to work with. I think that they could do something amazing in like a tag team, ladder match, Monsters Ball match, whatever you want to put them in. I think they need some more matches like that for the tag division. What do you guys think, though? Let me know. We actually had a kind of like a tribute match, in my opinion, which was a triple threat for the Knockouts title, which consisted of Gail Kim versus Allie versus Sienna. Can't be mad. Gail Kim, first ever Knockouts champion, and I believe she's retiring after this match, unless someone else knows different or if this is a storyline. But Gail Kim wins tonight and goes on to retire as the Knockouts champion. She earns it. I think sometimes people don't have to put someone over on the way out. Gail Kim was the first ever Knockouts champion. Her feud with Awesome Kong. She's had so many great matches, even with Taryn Terrell. Gail Kim definitely deserves the respect that she gets in this match. It was a decent match, nothing great, but Gail Kim deserves the respect that she gets. What else did we have? We had Bobby Lashley and King Mo versus Stephan, Bonnar, and Moose, my boy Moose. It's likely that this match was going to become super overbooked, but things got choppy and chaotic. But it was still a good match for how they built it. I did like Stephan Bonnar's build to this entire thing, and Dan Lambert definitely brought it. He should be given more credit for his promo skills in this. Someone who definitely made it feel kind of real in the build-up to the show. So he's kind of my unsung hero of the night, but Dan Lambert did a hell of a job. In the end, though, it was too much. Lashley and King Mo get the victory, defeating Bonnar and Moose. And I kind of figured that due to all the work King Mo has done with Impact Wrestling in the past. But still a decent match. I definitely think that this feud isn't over, and I think Moose and Lashley have something working here with each other. I think they just need to be booked into a better singles match against one another, and we could get what we need to out of it. But Moose is on his way to becoming a big main event player, I feel. And maybe Lashley can even insert himself back into there. And then we get to Del Rio basically did a promo earlier in the night, or I'm sorry, I shouldn't even call him that. He's Alberto El Patron, which is Alberto Del Rio from WWE, if you guys didn't know. And he basically he cut a promo about management suspending him for all the stuff with Paige and the airport stripping him of his title despite all the investigations that said he was clean. He didn't do anything in any of them. And he even tried to force Jeremy Borash to apologize to him. Made for some pretty awkward things here. There was another segment with Jimmy Jacobs as well coming out. All stuff that you'll probably see on their YouTube page if you guys wanted to check it out. It's all stuff leading into the next show, so check it out if you want to see where that stuff's going. But Alberto El Patron stuff leads to the main event, though, because this show was basically about Alberto El Patron. So we had Eli Drake versus Johnny Impact, who is Johnny Mundo, a.k.a. Johnny Nitro, John Morrison. They basically had a pretty decent match going back and forth. It was what you expected from the two guys for what you were going to get. I feel Eli Drake has some momentum right now, even with Chris Masters. He's got a different name in TNA. I can't remember. It begins with a Chris Adonis, maybe it is. They were going back and forth out there. And my really cool spot of the night was when Eli Drake went to throw John Morrison into the guardrail, and Morrison slid underneath the guardrail, and it was amazing. If you check out at EPW Show on Twitter, I retweeted. Someone made a pretty cool GIF of it. Amazing spot in the match. But Johnny Impact looks like he has the match won. He's finally going to win the Impact Wrestling Championship, and Alberto El Patron comes out and costs him the belt. Not because he's friends with Eli Drake, but he said no one should get to face Eli Drake until he gets his chance at the title again. So he basically costs Johnny Impact the championship match, and Eli Drake gets the big victory, and I'm hoping this will lead to like a kind of triple threat feud. I don't know who's staying in Impact Wrestling, but it looks like Impact's got a lot of work cut out for them for rebuilding this roster, helping make some of these other guys known. And I'm telling you, don't give up on the LAXs and the OVEs, but we got to get people in there that they can work with and get more talent that people know, or find ways to put them over, basically. Overall, though, was it a great show for TNA? No. Was it a bad show, though? I wouldn't say that either. They have to make these events feel special for people to pay for them, $30, $40, whatever the price range may be. But guys, if you enjoyed this, do me a favor, leave a like on the video. Also, subscribe to me on Twitter, follow my group on Facebook, join the Wrestling Talk. We could always use some more Impact Wrestling fans. Don't have too many of them in there. We got about 5 to 10, trying to get some more in there. So join the conversation if you watch Impact every week. And that's it, guys. Leave your thoughts down below on what you'd like to see coming from Impact Wrestling in the future. And we are out. Peace.